Now girls, you know with my history, my problematic past, that I know what it takes if a guy is for keeps or if he is he for the streets. Some of these motherfuckers, they don't even need to be put back into the streets. They need to be put into this motherfucker here. Rightfully so. Back to the garbage can you came without a motherfucker.
Pull up in my hood, best dress. Next thing, upgrade, who's next? Rich boy, got him on deck. Good boy, tell that nigga fetch. I put my new man on a leash. Traded in my old nigga, he was just a lease. I ride around town till I leave. I gave that boy rounds, but I'm back to the street like la da di da di da. Yeah, I spin him back to the streets like la da di da di da.
Hey, what's up, people? What's up? I am doing really good today, and greetings and salutations. I'm hoping that everything is going well in your life, and I'm hoping that you're sending positive energy out. So, if this is your first time coming to this channel, please press that subscribe button. Do that now. Do that now. Subscribe, not only subscribe, but go ahead and turn on those notifications. Yes, let's keep the good energy coming through before we do anything else. I'm waiting for you to subscribe, Miss Thing. I'm not gonna move on until you do. Enough with the BS. Enough with the BS. Let's get into it. Okay. I'm not gonna even beat around the bush. So, I had one of my subscribers that left a comment under one of my videos. Shout out to my subscriber, Love. She had watched my Confessions of a Side Bitch video, and this was in continuation of that comment that she had left when she was asking, like, how did I get so many men? Or, trust me, child, it is not a blessing. It's sometimes more of a curse than anything else. Okay, so she went ahead and she's, yeah, I make myself look good, but there are no good men. I want long-lasting, faithful relationship. Oh well, whatever God wants for me will be. I said if a long-lasting monogamous relationship is what you want, then don't settle for anything less. As a matter of fact, you've just inspired me to make my next video, which is going to be titled, Sis, is he for keeps or for the street? And then her following reply goes as such. Foxxjazell, do you have any suggestions on where I can find a great man? A great man. Here's where. Okay. So I'm going to address that question because when you said good, that there's no good men, I really have to point it out. And this is something that has been perplexing to me for quite some time because I had to get out of my own bias, prejudices to be able to get this answer. Okay. Now, when we measure the word good, what do we think of? We think of things that are satisfying. We think of something that makes us feel good.
Wait, let me fix my wig and myself because I'm so tired of everybody talking about hold on. Everybody's saying she big. Look at her trying to run. She can't run. Now, who can't run? Who can't run? Yeah. Who ain't got speed? Play with your mama, not me. I'm tired.
You know, so good is, it can be very broad. Very broad. Because when I think about it, when I look back at my life and my relationship life, have my experiences been mostly good? I don't mind helping my man out or holding him down. Jay, you're crazy.
And when you telling me that you ain't gonna talk to me because I haven't given you any coin.
Is this what you want to get me on the Facebook Live about?
To do for your car? Cause you ain't got your car. You sold that car for a gram of Tina, girl.
You know, being in the crack house as a little mama kid, barefooted, running outside.
You know, you sit here and gave me a big old Deepak Chopra speech, honey. Like you're just like this metaphysical, you know, person of knowledge, and
I said I feel like we're on the same level.
you were basically giving me a Tony Robbins, Deepak Chopra speech that had nothing to do with the fact that you can't get hard because you've done fucking methamphetamine and a whole bunch of other stuff like that to numb your feelings to be with a trans woman. Yes. Now, have they been healthy? No. Aha. That is the correlation there. That is where we make the difference, the distinction between good and healthy. Because not all the time is something that's good or great. It's going to be something that's going to be healthy for us in the long run. So I really want you to think about what you're asking for when you say, I want a great man or a good man. God, I think I may have gotten over my head here because this is about to be a very heavy conversation. And y'all know what that means. I need to be able to do this with a sober, clear state of mind. And y'all know, when I say sober, I really mean sober-ish. Because today, we're gonna just keep it a little light. Compliments of Arbor Miss. Okay. So, I really want to state this very clearly. I don't claim to be a psychologist. I don't claim to be a know-it-all. I don't even claim to be one of these relationship coaches or, you know, relationship navigators. What I claim to be is me, Foxxjazell Kiva Jackson, okay? And sometimes my advice may not be the best, but my advice comes from personal experience and my life, my long, you know, life here on this earth and dealing with different circumstances that permits different situations. And that's why I really wanted to state that whole thing about good, because we are so, I think that a lot of times, and I for one can say fall victim to this, we don't really sit back and think about the words that we ask for. Like, oh, I want a good man. Because let me break it down to you like this. When you say you want a good man or a great man, those men are all around us. And let me tell you what I mean by that. That good or great man may be the overweight janitor at your job, you know, that's 50 years old or so. That great man could be a guy that he's a great family man, he's a great employee, but he doesn't have good morals, he doesn't have good intentions, you know. I even think about in my life, like all of my boyfriends that I've had, you know, every one of them have cheated on me. But then I have to say to myself, does that make them not a good person? No. No, not at all. And when I say no, I mean no. The fact that they cheated on me does not make them a bad person. It may make them not good on personal human morals. But as I've gotten older and I've really understood human biology, human psychology, and human nature, basically, I've totally understood that sometimes human nature just takes over. You can be that good man in a good marriage with a good family, a good job, and then you meet this person that completely sweeps you off of your feet. Someone that you connect with on so many levels, spiritually, financially, emotionally, physically. And you connect with this person and you leave all these good things to be with this person that you connect with on so many different levels. Now, some people would say that would make him a bad person. But in my perception and the way I have grown, mature to see things, I don't really think that is the case. I mean, and when it comes back down to it, this is where I'm coming to. We're talking about, is he for keeps or for the streets? And I may not be a relationship expert. I may not be a psychologist with a degree. But baby, I have a PhD in fuckboy analogy. So, this is a subject I know quite well. When it comes to fuckboys and knowing if he's for keeps or for the streets, I can honestly say that what looks good may not be good on the inside. Simply is this. Okay. I'm going to take this orange, for example. Okay. Everybody knows that oranges are nice and sweet. All orange inside. Now, you can make that assumption. But the thing about making assumptions is that when you make assumptions, you're making an ass out of you and me. Okay? And sometimes your assumptions and your perceptions can be completely different than what the reality of the situation is. Yes, it's a blood orange. Not to say it's bad or anything. It's great. For some people, it may be a little disgusting for them to see a blood orange because, they're used to what they're used to. It makes a very good mix with this Arbor Mist honey. Hits it just right. Give it just the kick that it needs. When we're talking about kicking. Let me tell you something. I've said this many times before, and I will keep saying it many times again. Sometimes, if you want to see if a man is good, you just have to put him to the test. And some of these tests that I'm gonna, put upon you, y'all are not going to want to do because, quite as frank, most of these tests, most of the girls that have done these tests, they get very undesirable results. Most girls won't even try to do the test because they know they're going to get the undesirable results. So they don't even try to fuck around with it. And I get you. Good dick is on a scarcity. But just keep in mind, good dick does not equal great person. I've said this time and time again. You can know when he's for keeps or when he's for those streets.
They left your ass. You were trifling. You belong to the streets. So they went to the streets and found someone else, and now you mad? Ooh, look at my ex. She lives in the bed. You trifling. Know that. So they left your ass. No? Do your thing. Cool. You belong to the streets.
A lot of times, I've noticed that I can get confused. I can get bad intentions of a individual confused with his character as a person. Meaning that just because he's irresponsible with returning my texts, doesn't return my texts or phone calls, or leaves me for weeks and weeks, months and months before replying back, does not necessarily make him a bad person. Okay? You know, that means that he doesn't have respect for me, and he's just probably not he's a bad choice for me. Not to say that he's going to be a bad choice for someone else. And that's what I mean. You ever heard that song? That very, very selfish song. I don't care what you do to them, just be good to me. That's actually kind of real. You know, as much as I don't want to admit it or so, I will admit that I have been played by guys in the past, robs, cheated on, all that stuff. Only for them to get with the next girl and treat her like a princess. Vice versa. I've been in situations where this guy may have dogged the fuck out of this other girl, our person, because we can't always assume it's just a girl. And he treated me like a queen. So, one of the great ways of realizing how to know if he is for the streets or if he's for for keeps. Okay. And keep in mind, people, this has nothing to do with sexual technique or performance. You know, you give him the 7-Eleven test. I've said this in my video before, the Reading Rainbow video. You give him the 7-Eleven test. And if there's a 7-Eleven next door to you, then you give him a test for somewhere that's not near, because it completely defeats the purpose if it's right next door. There's no effort involved. Okay, the 7-Eleven tests are this can be any corner store test where he says he's on his way. Okay, he says he's on his way, right? You got me? All right, we're on the same page here. Then you ask him for something small, but something that he has to put effort into. Meaning that if you know that he is probably gonna go a certain way to get to you, then you throw a monkey wrench there, because you want to see exactly if this is a good person for you. Okay? And if he is for keeps. You know, this is simple as that. Hey, sweetie, can you stop at 7-Eleven and get me a Slurpee? Can you stop and get me some pretzels from 7-Eleven? You know, be really specific about it, because I'm going to tell you too, when you're really specific about it and they get the specifics, that also tells a lot. And yes, he is for keeps for now. Yeah. So, yes, 9 times out of 10, most guys that I have dealt with in my occasion, most guys in these millennial times that my girlfriends, my guy friends have dealt with, it's sad to say, but this is usually where the buck stops. And it's so early on. I've had guys that have completely stopped association with me because I asked for a fucking Slurpee. Yep. There's no throwing him back to the streets. I mean, he never got to my house for me to throw him back anywhere. So he's just still on the streets. So, I mean, it's kind of simple, but, you know, it's very sad. Very, very sad. Now, this next one should be a very much given when it comes to knowing if he's for keeps or strictly for the streets. How is his attitude toward women? How is his attitude toward his mother, his sister? These are very important components that you must find out if you want to take it there with this guy. Because I'm going to tell you, I'll say from a black man's perspective. I know a lot of y'all will probably be looking at this and saying, yeah, because you are a black man. Whatever, honey. If it makes you feel better to say that I'm a black man, I'm speaking from a black man's perspective, so be it. But anyways, moving along. A lot of black men, young black men, they have what I call the black bitch syndrome. Meaning that he may date outside of his race. He may even go so much as far as to not date women at all and just fuck around. Yeah. You just use your imagination for the rest of that sentence. But the black bitch syndrome usually stems from a very dysfunctional relationship with his mother. I mean, I have heard it all from guys that have told me that their mother has up and all of a sudden, you know, they're 14, him and his brothers and sisters coming home from school, you know, just thinking that they're gonna come home from school, get cooked dinner and all this stuff, and only to find out that their mother has kicked them out. Not because anyone has done anything wrong, but because of the fact that she has a new man in her life. And her man doesn't want to raise anyone else's kids. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even like kids. So guess what? Y'all asses gotta go. I know y'all my children and everything, but I need this man. I need this man. So therefore, that starts a psychological damaging effect on that young man, and he associates a lot of negativity to a black bitch, meaning his mother, and that black bitch syndrome. Now, you can easily tell exactly how guys, what I like to call misogynists, are so, how they behave, because it's just something, it's an aura about them.
Being direct. Women are creatures of indirection. They're very rarely straightforward. They're very rarely real. How do you know that? Just take a look. Everything about them is generally fake and phony. Fake eyelashes, fake color contacts, fake hair extensions, makeup covering the face, clown paint, fake nails, fake breast implants, fake butt injections, butt lift. You know, like, it just goes on and on and on. It's really a shame that such a fake creature would want a real man, right? One is that they're deeply insecure. Number two, they're deeply concerned with improving, altering, fixing, and changing things because nothing's ever good enough, including themselves and including you if you're not controlling their mind right and leading them in the right direction. So let me ask you this. Why would you chase a woman when in reality they're going nowhere?
Did you just say what I thought she said? Like, dump him right back to the streets. Rightfully so. Back to the garbage can you came up out of, motherfucker.
They left your ass. You were trifling. You belong to the streets.
Alright, so when I was talking about tests before, I really want to be really specific about what type of test that I'm talking about. Now, I will tell you this. Some of you guys, like I said before, you may not want to do this test because this is definitely the uncomfortable truth. And I will say that I've had to neglect this test with some people because I knew they were not going to pass. And the dick was that good, honey. Trust me, honey, it is not the fact that I'm a thought or anything. It is the fact that, honey, dick is on a scarcity. If you have not noticed, it's kind of like an exodus out here in California, where most people are moving out of California because of the fact that it's so fucking high to live here, to the point where every month I pass by, I try to question myself of like, I'm so surprised I don't have a roommate because like I barely get through. But anyways, one of the ways to test just what type of guy you're dealing with is by taking a nice crisp Benjamin Franklin and crumple it. Child. Come to think of it, yeah. Not too many people want to pass that test, honey. Even me. So, yeah. You may lose a couple of friends after trying that test. Child, times are hard too. And you sitting here crumbling up a $100 bill to see if I'm going to take it. To see if I'm... Bitch, hell yes, I'm going to take that bitch. Alright. But anyways. You're going to take a wrinkled up $20 bill or a wrinkled up $5 bill and you place it somewhere in the immediate area that you and your guest is entertaining in. But don't make it too obvious, but make it obvious. Meaning make it in plain sight, but not in plain sight. Like, you take this and you ball it up like that. And basically just leave it there on the main coffee table or wherever. And then that's when you're going to propose. Oh, I gotta go take a phone call. Make it very clear that you are going to leave the vicinity. Okay? Now here's the moment of truth. Baby. You come back 5 minutes later. Is the money still there? Is he still? Now, people, let me holler at y'all for a second. I am here to tell you that you can take this at your own risk. But believe me, it is a good investment. Even though, just count on the fact that the better the dick, the more of a possibility that the test will be successful, but you will be broke, especially if that's your own. Yeah, take it at your own will. Do not come back to me. Don't bring that bullshit over here. I will read the eyes out you, hoe. That's all you, mama. There. I will let you know that just because the money won't be there doesn't mean that he won't still be there. Because he's probably trying to look to get some more from you. I've had guys that have taken that and that have helped me look for the missing $20 that I purposely put out there. I'm telling you, people, that if this is a guy that you have suspicions about, honey, if you're too scared to do the test with him because you think he's going to fail, then you already know. Fuck that. You don't need to do a test. You know what you're dealing with. You don't want to miss out on that good dick. So, yeah. But when it's all said and done, when all the fun and games are done, when he comes up with that Tina dick or the dick just is trash, back to the streets, dump his ass, back to the streets. Depending on if there are streets to go back to, if he hasn't robbed you for anything else by the time that you've finally gotten up enough courage to dump his ass to the streets. I'm just saying. Okay, so I got a quick story to tell you guys. Now, some of my long-time subscribers that have seen almost like every video on this channel, you probably are familiar with that. You know, I mean, if you have seen every video, then God, I pray for you, because you obviously don't. Yes, but thank you for your support. So, Okay, there was once upon a time that I was an unapologetic, mean, ruthless size queen. Well, and I'm talking about the very unapologetic size queen. I've said this at the time we've done it before. Ruthless size queen. You get the picture. So anyways, back in 2017, I came back here to Cali to come live and take on a job that I was called out here for. And yes, I still had that Brooklyn mentality of being used to dicks that were about as thick as this and about as long as my arm. Okay, so one particular guy that I basically ran into when I was out here, I basically, when he showed up, I was very disappointed. Actually, to say disappointed would probably be an understatement. I was devastated because I remember he told me that he was Jamaican, and I'm used to a certain product from a Jamaican man. And when I tell you that product did not measure to the size that I thought it should have measured, to the point where I thought that he was being a disgrace to the Jamaican culture by flipping out what he flipped out. Yeah, you get the point. So anyways, I insulted him. I said that, you know what, I should be getting paid to do this. At this point, I'm just really turned off. And he's like, damn, you're gonna dog me, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, gave him an opportunity, and he fucked me like no other man has fucked me for someone of that size, which was not small. It was average. But I guess the biggest mistake that I made is that I told him this, okay? Yes, that was a mistake. I told him that. So as time went on, we kind of changed roles. Originally, he was the pursuer of me, and I was the one that wasn't having it. Those roles changed when I found out how good that dick was, and vice versa. Well, long story short, I ended up blocking him altogether. I had to block him because he was getting all types of disrespectful. Just all types of disrespectful. I mean, I think the last straw that I had is that, he had me get ready for him, and he came through, rung the doorbell. I was trying to straighten things up. Now, I literally took no more than 6 minutes to get to the door. And when I got to the door, he was gone. He texts me and says, "Oh, I'm back on the freeway. Now you see how I feel." What? Because I took 6 minutes because I wanted to make sure that my apartment was up and tidy? Oh, hell no. Hell, you are acting like a fucking diva. Because of the fact that he just did not appreciate me. Okay, so now I got that long story out of the way. He connected with me recently. I want to just point that out. He, one of the things about me, or I guess anyone that's a, public figure or so, I mean, when you block someone, do you really block them? Because, I mean, if they really want to, they can just kind of like slide into your DMs of your social media, like this guy did. He got into my Instagram. So, yeah, and I have a soft spot for forgiving, and due to the fact that dick is on a scarcity out here in LA, just like, starving African children wanting food, the beggars can't be choosy. So I gave him a second chance, but I said, this time you need to start showing like you appreciate me more. He said, yeah. Long story short, we had set up something, and I was feeling really good about this, It was, I had dushed, I put on my favorite dress because we were going to go out, okay? And he actually texted me and said, "Are you ready?" And I said, yes. And he took another 45 minutes or so before he said he was on his way.
Diva!
Then, within 20 minutes of him saying he was on his way, mind you, it's already like 10 o'clock at night, so I'm kind of guessing that the restaurant we're going to go to is going to be closed, and it's going to give very one of those things of like, oh, the restaurant's already closed. Nigga, you wasn't planning on taking me to the restaurant in the first place. You just wanted to say that so you can make up an excuse, come off like you wanted to be a gentleman when you're not a gentleman. What the...
Diva!
Child, I knew the game, okay? But fuck that. Who gives a fuck about a restaurant? I wasn't trying to get any more food up in me when I actually had to just get food out of me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Okay. He actually texts me and says, "I have a family emergency that came up. I gotta take one of my relatives to the airport. And plus I have to be at work early in the morning." Yeah, this is why dick is on a scarcity, because motherfuckers like this like to play games. Now, this motherfucker here, he's not for the streets. He's not even for the garbage, honey. That's someone that you throw in the freeway because he didn't try at your time like that. It's so mean, cruel, and unusual. You know, I know he did this because he wanted to get a sick satisfaction out of this. I mean, this is a narcissistic game. This is the games that narcissists that they play. So the point of that is to tell you guys that no matter how many times you have thinking that this guy that you really like, that has great dick, does not mean he's a good, great person. So just keep that in mind. Good dick does not equal great person. We've said this before. This is just kind of being repetitive. So, oh God, let you know that some of these motherfuckers, they belong in the streets. So in the streets is where he shall stay and where you shall put him back in. Yes. I want to just say this to anyone that is on Facebook or whatever like that. Don't take it personal if you don't see me accept your friend request, because I've been saying this for over a year now that I'm kind of trying to transition off of Facebook. But, you know, between me and you or you and her, I mean, I try to avoid Facebook like how black men avoid child support. And oh yes, take heed, people. This is not a game. This is real life. These motherfuckers are for the streets. Sometimes they're for the dumpster, the sewer, you know,
possibly
push
Mars,
off the cliff or whatever. I'm just playing, not really. But yeah, like, subscribe, share, and voice Foxxjazell Problematic.